Hello, all my inspirational tea sippers. This is Shantae, and I'm coming back to you guys with another video. I pray that you guys are well, feeling amazing, doing amazing, holding on to hope and faith, starting your day with Christ, and ending your day with Christ. If you fell off, that's okay. You're here, you're breathing. It's always another day. The Lord is always showing us new grace and new mercy to get back on track. Start your prayer, reading your Bible. I know there are some days that I have been off and I need to get back on and get back consistent so we can do this to stay strong and to continue to move forward in our goals for 2019. So as you guys know, my auntie is here in town. She came and did a video while I was out of town for a couple of days, and she got into a little bit of my background a little bit and about some things that has happened to me in my life. So tonight's video is actually tonight, Sunday night actually. Tonight's video is a little bit more serious, and I just wanted to kind of touch on something that she said as far as some things that happened to me after my mom passed and how I processed that whole thing. So she really enjoyed you guys. She's going to be heading back tomorrow now that it stopped snowing. So I think I might have her record a video just to tell you guys bye and share a little bit more wisdom that she had or she wanted to say. But she really enjoyed you guys, and she says hello. So let's get right into this story time. So the story time is going to be how I processed the passing of my mother, is what I'll say. Okay, so I'm in high school. Prior to this, my grandmother had passed maybe a few years before to cancer on Valentine's Day, right? And then after that, my stepdad, I have my original dad, he's been in my life, but him and my mom weren't together. And so I had a stepdad that we were close to, and he ended up passing away too at this time. So some years later, my mom gets sick. I talked about it a little bit. There's a numbing in her legs, and she's dealing with like her diabetes issue. She's dealing with her asthma and different things. She's just trying to figure out like, why is her legs going numb, and she doesn't understand what is this whole thing going on, right? And so doctors, they couldn't figure it out. So it took a few years for them to figure it out. So come to find out, there was if I'm not mistaken, a slip disc in her back, right? So they were saying that she needed to have surgery to remove this nerve that's causing, the numbness and the tingling and, all of this stuff going on in her legs. So we come in one day. She was at the hospital, and she's on the edge of the bed, and she's crying, right? And I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? And she's like, well, the doctor said that they want me to have surgery, and surgery is the only way for me to be able to walk again, because by this time she's on a cane because she keeps losing the feeling in her legs, and she's kind of like stumbling and all of this. So they're like, you're gonna need surgery. So she's like, I'm just so scared. I'm just so scared. I've never had surgery before. I don't know, what to expect or whatever. And I'm like, well, and she's like, what do you think? And so me and my sister came in, and she's like, well, what do you guys think? And I'm thinking, well, yeah, if this is going to get you back to how you were and get you back to moving around and all of this stuff, I'm like, yes, that would be great. I think you should go for it. They're saying that, you'll be in the hospital for a little bit or whatever, and you'll come out fine. You'll be okay. So besides that, her diabetes or whatever, it wasn't like out of whack. She, kept track of it and all this stuff. And she had asthma. Okay, nothing major. She was a heavy set woman, but that was pretty much it. She wasn't like sickly. So okay, so after we talk or whatever, she lets them know that, okay, we agreed. She talked to her children, and we're going to go ahead and go with the surgery, right? So I don't know how long after that, but she ended up going through with the surgery. And surgery happens and she starts to have complications. Um, the incision in her back opens up. They have to recut her open, and then she gets an infection in the hospital, and all of this stuff is going on, and she's already a diabetic. So once she's getting sick like this after the surgery, it's like turning into something major. So she's snatching out the plugs and all of this stuff, so they have her sedated. There's only so much they can do with her here after all of this stuff is going on, so they go ahead and transfer her to UCLA, right? So they transfer her to UCLA to continue on with, because by this time she's like in critical condition now, and the infection is kind of like set in. She's gotten sick from inside the hospital or whatnot. So we're going through with that. They take us down to go visit her. It's 4 girls, so they take us down to go visit her one day, and I'm just like stunned. I can't believe like what I'm looking at. She's like comatose, and they're like, she's comatose. We had to sedate her because she keeps pulling out these tubes. She's so aggressive. She's so, she has her own mind. She wants to do her own thing, and I don't think she realized how, big this thing has gotten, right? So I'm just bawling. I'm in shock. I can't believe that this is happening, right? So, okay, we have our visit or whatever, and we're kind of talking, but the way we're talking, because there's tube now and all this, so we're writing back and forth. I'm talking, but she's writing her response. So we have that, great visit or whatever. It was traumatizing, but we had a good visit, and we're heading back home. And then, so I don't know how long after that, we're going to school still. I don't know, who are we living with? We're staying with one of my aunties, if I'm not mistaken. We're living with one of my aunts, and so we're still going to school and all that stuff or whatnot. And before school ends, one of my aunts comes up to the schoolhouse, right? And so she comes up to the schoolhouse, and I'm like, okay, well, what is my auntie doing here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is she doing here so early? School is not even out. Like, what's going on? And so they're like, we need you and your sisters to come to the office. At the time, it's me and my sister that's right up under me, and they had already picked up my younger sister. So I'm like, okay, what? And so at this point, I kind of felt something was going on, but I wasn't quite sure. So I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? So we go get our stuff, and we like head to the front office, and I'm like, what is going on? And then my auntie has this look on her face, and it's like this look of, you already know. You know what I mean? Like, she had this look like, you just know. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, my mama died. You know what I mean? And she's just like, tears are just falling. And I'm like, why are we coming out of school? Like, my mama died? Like, did she die? Because at this time, we already know what's going on. She's ICU. She's kind of struggling. All of this stuff is going on day by day by day. And I'm just like, and she's just looking at me, and then she just kind of nods and like tears. I mean, and we just freak out. We couldn't even get all the way in the office because we were just like trying to figure out what was going on. So we are freaking out. You probably could hear us all around the campus, right? So freaking out, just crying and boo-hooing, not understanding. We hadn't even seen her. We only seen her that one time near UCLA. It was just a lot. Like, oh my goodness, my mom, she was very strict. But she was loving. Like, she was that type of mom that would, like, if you were sick with a tummy ache, she would have you come lay on her, and she would rub your belly and kind of rub the gas out. And, she would suck her thumb and play in your hair and, just give you all kind of hugs. And, she set our boundaries, and she let us know, and we got our butts whooped. And, she didn't play any games, but she was very loving. You know what I mean? We attended church. She raised us up in the Lord. She was very funny. Like, she had that nice, well, she was really, really, really strict, but it was a good kind of balance going on. So she was like our everything. Like, we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't stay the night at different places. So it was just always us. She was at home. She didn't work. So it was us. So when I'm asking my auntie, like, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm just like, completely in shock. We are freaking out. We screaming. They got the security guards trying to get us all together and trying to get us in the car and all of this stuff. And I just remember just being so mad. Like, I'm screaming angry. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't get it. Like, my mind is just completely gone at this point. And I remember going into straight rage. So I'm in a rage. I'm just like, I cannot believe this. Like, here I am. I'm in high school. I'm thinking I'm in the 10th grade. I'm only like 15 years old. And I lose my mom. Like, my mom. It's not like she was a mom who wasn't there. It's not like she was a mom who, you know what I mean? I lose my mom. So I'm like immediately angry, frustrated, bitter, just, you know what I mean? And then all these other things are going on. Now we trying to figure out, like, where are we going to stay? You know, who are we going to live with? My aunts, they all have their own kids and their own lives. And here we are, you know, well, my oldest sister, she was living with, you know, my other side of the family, but just trying to figure out, like, where do we go next? And they're just trying to figure out this whole thing. And I'm just like pissed, like, furious. My grandma gone, my stepdad is gone, now my mom died, and at this point I believe I felt like everybody I loved I lost, you know what I mean? So at this point I'm just kind of like not trying to get close to anybody, because I'm like, who knows, you know, what's going to happen. I don't even know if you're going to be around. I don't even know if, you know, at this time, my boyfriend, I'm just completely separating from him. I'm just like, I turned into a nasty, mean person. Like, I put this wall up. By then, I get my first job with my auntie. And I'm working. I ended up moving out. She ended up co-signing for me because I was very mature. After, you know, I'm just a very mature young lady. So I get my own place and all of this stuff. And then that's when the drinking starts. The drinking starts. I'm in this toxic relationship where I don't even love myself. You know what I mean? Because of my size and my weight and, you know, all of these things. And I'm thinking I'm so in love. I met this guy at the age of 12 years old. He was in junior high going into high school, so we met very young, and I'm thinking I'm so head over heels, but I'm so angry, you know what I mean? I'm so angry, I'm upset. So the drinking starts, and I'm drinking, and drinking falls heavily on my dad's side. And I wake up drinking, go to sleep drinking, started smoking weed, just trying to block all of this stuff out. And then even in the midst of all of this, a few years back, few years from this, I find him dead. So, and that's another story time I'll get into. But then I find him dead. So it was just a spiral of emotions and a spiral of, you know, I'm mad at my aunties now. I'm mad, you know, I'm rage. I'm mad at God. I'm mad at God at this point. Furious, you know, and it breaks my heart for me to say it because of who I know he is now. But back then as a little girl, I'm just like, leave me alone. Lord, I don't want anything to do with you. I'm too young. I don't understand any of this. I'm out. Like, I'm out. I don't want this anymore. I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done. I can't. My mom was like my best friend. Like, she was my mom. Like, I don't understand. I didn't understand it. I didn't want nothing else to do with God. I was done. I was mad at my aunties, cussing, fussing, mad, frustrated about, you know, different situations and things that transpired after my mom passed, and just livid, mad at the fact that everybody didn't have her character, didn't have her ways, wasn't as embracing, wasn't as loving, you know, and I couldn't put that on everybody else. Like, we are all each individuals is what I know now. But back then as a little girl, I was just pissed and upset and just angry, mad at the world. So I'm promiscuous, I'm drinking every day, I'm smoking every day, and I'm just so upset because I'm not understanding what all this means, you know. But to make a long story short, after all of that and the death of my mom and just becoming so angry, so bitter, and all of that, I realize now that had it not been for the passing of my mom, had it not been for the situations and the circumstances that um, I was in after the passing of my mom, I don't believe that I would be who I am right now today. You know, I don't believe I would be who I am today. I don't believe I would be the mother that I am today. Everything that I do, you know, I know that I am a part of her. You know, I am, you know, pretty strict with my kids, straightforward and all that, but I'm very loving. I make sure that I'm compassionate with them and I spend time with them. And when I am disciplining, that's how she was. When we did get disciplined, she would always let us know, this is why I did it. This is what it was. This is, you know, and this is how I want you to move forward from there. So I have a lot of characteristics that my mom had, and I use that with my kids. Not everything, but some of the things that I believe really shaped me and mold me to be the woman that I am today. I'll take those and I hold them dearly, and I apply those with my children. Now, granted, there are some things that I didn't agree with as a child, or just kind of felt like I didn't want to do that with my kids. That's different, but for the most part, she's with me every single day. I know it. I feel it. I know that, I know for a fact that she is proud of the woman that I am today. And what I wanted to say tonight was, you have to trust the process. The process didn't look like how it would look for everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, some people will lose their mom and they just, okay, just continue to move forward. You kind of block it out and you just do. My story was a little bit different because I kind of rebelled. I rebelled against God. I rebelled against my family. I rebelled against, you know, the relationship that I was in at the time, which I should have gotten out of long before then. But just rebelling. I was so angry. I didn't want anything to do with God. Like, what are you talking about? Like, anything to do. And so once he opened my eyes as to everything and how it all worked out, and how no matter how tough life may be, and no matter the trauma that you may experience, and no matter the depth of the pain that you may experience, you have to know one thing, and you have to know that it is all working together for your good. It's all working together for your good, to those who love the Lord. Even though I was angry with him and I turned my back against him, I still, deep down, I still loved him. And he knew that. He knows your heart, even though I didn't feel like I did. Because feelings are feelings. They come and they go. He knew that. He knew that. He knew that. And once he showed me, you know, how it all worked together, and how, yes, I miss my mom every single day, and I would give my very breath to have another day or another opportunity with her, I would have to say that I wouldn't trade my experiences and what has happened to me in my life. I wouldn't trade it. And if I had to do it all over again to be the woman that I am right now today, I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again. I would experience it all over again. The road was not easy. It was tough, but I would do it all over again, because I am who I am today because of those experiences. I am who I am today because of how I fell, how I got back up, and how the whole time God was with me and I had no clue, because anger blinded me. Anger, rage, it took over my life, literally. And it was only years and years later when I finally got back to church after falling into a deep depression. I didn't come outside. I didn't shower. I barely ate. And one day I just decided, I think I heard something on the radio. And no, I think I just decided one day, okay, I'm gonna get up and go to church. Like, I had closed the blinds. It was so dark in the house, and I decided to get up and go to church. And when I went to church, he literally spoke. I will never forget this. He literally spoke every single thing that I had been through in my life up until that point. And I just knew. I ended up breaking down, surrendering to God. I asked the Lord for forgiveness. I just asked him to come into my heart and cleanse me, cleanse me of all of this stuff. Like, show me the way. Like, I am lost, I'm hurt, I'm broken. I'm in despair. And at that moment, I remember being so vulnerable. And it was like, it was just me and God at that moment. I don't even remember even being in church. I don't remember faces. I don't remember anything. Just, I remember the encounter. So I said all that to say, a lot of times we look at our lives and we think, oh, I done been through too much, or I done been, too hurt, or, I'm just so angry at life, and I'm just so upset about, the cards that life has dealt me. If you can really truly understand that it all works together. It all works together. And I say it a lot in my videos. If you can keep the hope and keep the faith. I knew back then, something in the back of my mind just kept me going. And I know now that it was nothing but the grace of God, because of what he has for me right now today, and for what's to come in my future. So I say all that to say, be vulnerable, be real, be authentic with the Lord. Open up to him and let him know where you are, even though he already knows. He wants to hear from you. He is there. And, change your perspective on your situation. Change the way you're thinking about your situation. Change the way, you feel about your situation. And I pray to God that, he opens your eyes and that you realize that you are precious. You are his riches. You are who he desires. He loves us. He wants to hear from us every single day. And there is nothing too hard for him. And whatever you're in, he will surely, surely, surely bring you out if you seek him. That is a promise. I know it for myself. He's faithful. If he did it for me, he'll do it for you. No, it didn't happen in a week. No, it didn't happen in a month. It was years for me to get delivered from all of that stuff. And I remember going back to my auntie's house after taking a trip from Houston back to California to visit. And when she saw me and, the way I spoke and, who God had transformed me, and she just busted out in tears. My Auntie Charlotte busted out in tears, and she was just like, oh my God, God is real. Like, there is a change in you. Like, she was just bawling, crying, and I knew right then that I had been changed. Like, I had been changed. It was not only evident to me, but it was evident to other people and those around me. So I just pray to God, you guys, that this story time encouraged you, that it blessed you, that you hold on to it, and you just continue to see God, you guys. He's going to see you through. I promise you that. Just be open, be honest, be vulnerable. Always be yourself. Trust the process. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's your story. It's your testimony. Use it for God's glory. Until the next time, thank you guys for having me. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Inspire. Be inspired. I love you guys. God bless you. Good night.